What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Big Fight Field channel, where we speak the truth, we're honest, and we give our takes on the Miami Dolphins. It is Friday, it is Football Friday, and it is Fins Up Friday here on the Big Fight Field channel. Excuse me. September 20th, 2024. And this is your preview for the Miami Dolphins taking on the Seattle Seahawks. The 2-0 Seattle Seahawks, who have beaten the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots by a combined 9 points. 9 points. So there are a ton. And basically every national media outlet is picking the Seahawks to win this game and are doubting the Miami Dolphins. And I don't want to sit here and say they shouldn't be doubting the Miami Dolphins, A, because of last week's performance, and B, because Skylar Thompson is now our starting quarterback. It's deserved. But this weekend, we gotta send a message. We gotta send a message that we are just not gonna flop over and die until Tua Tagovailoa comes back to save us. That any quarterback can play in this system, not just Tua. That the big money targets that we have on this team, the playmakers that we have on this team, they can produce without Tua Tagovailoa. And we need to silence the doubters that the Miami Dolphins can go on the road and win in hostile environments. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I can't even remember the last time the Miami Dolphins went on the road and won in a hostile environment. They got blown out by the Kansas City Chiefs. They got blown out by the Baltimore Ravens. Legitimately, I think the last time the Dolphins went on the road and won a huge game was in 2022. When we had our monstrous comeback against the Baltimore Ravens. When we beat the Baltimore Ravens 42-38 in week 2 of the 2024 season. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say this is a bigger game than the Bills game was when we lost 31-10. But this is a pretty big game. And I think this game is going to send a message. It's going to determine the vibe of the locker room. If we go to Seattle and we don't compete and the offensive line is getting pushed over and the defensive line can't get any pressure and we're giving up touchdowns and the offense can't do fucking shit, then it's going to send a bad message in the locker room that we are not a legit team. We have enough talent on this team without Tua Tagovailoa that we should at least go on the road and make it close. And I'm not taking any moral victories. But if we go on the road and we get blown out this weekend, that's a bad sign. A bad sign for how this team was structured, and that's on the head coach and the general manager. And if that's the case, we were going to have that discussion very soon. But we either have the choice of keep fighting, go to Seattle, be dogs, or lay over and die until Tua Tagovailoa comes back. Seattle is not an unbeatable team. We saw the New England Patriots. Did you see how pathetic they played on Thursday Night Football? The New England Patriots ran all over the Seattle Seahawks with Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson. What makes you think the Dolphins can't do the same thing? So we have all these doubters doubting us. Simple way to put it is, let's prove them wrong and let's have them bite their tongue. Because I guarantee you, with the Dolphins going to Seattle this weekend and Skylar Thompson is coming in at quarterback, Seattle is licking their chops. They can't wait for this game. And we've got to send a message early. We've got to send a message early. So, we've got a lot to talk about here today on the preview. I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. We will be back on Sunday to go over the game, the post-game podcast for your Miami Dolphins against the Seattle Seahawks. Real quick, I want to talk about some stuff. For the picks, I decided that I'm going to move my picks over to Twitter. So, for the foreseeable future, I will be tweeting out my picks the Saturday before games, and then on Thursday, I'll be tweeting out my prediction on Thursday, obviously before the Thursday Night Football game. This week, I predicted the New York Jets over the New England Patriots, but I'm going to be tweeting out my winners the Saturday before the season starts. So that's one. And number two, I'm going to give you the rundown for next week. We are going to have an extremely, I don't want to say conflicted or chaotic, but it's going to be a week. Okay? It is going to be a week here on the Big Fight Field channel. Number one, if anything drops, if anything happens like something did this Monday when we signed Tyler Huntley, if something like that happens and there's a big injury or we make a quarterback change, God forbid, I will make a video Monday, Tuesday, whenever that case is. We don't play till Monday night next week. And I'm going to the game on Monday night against the Tennessee Titans. I was thinking about doing the preview on Thursday. That is a little bit too early. I'm going to be dropping it Friday afternoon. So I leave the airport around 6 o'clock in Philadelphia on Friday night. And I'm going to Alabama first. I'm going to the Alabama-Georgia game next Saturday night. I will not be vlogging that. I will not be vlogging at that game. That's going to be just posting pictures, videos on social media, all that good stuff. I won't be vlogging at the Alabama game. Sunday, I travel to Fort Lauderdale for the Dolphins against the Tennessee Titans. Of course, like I did last year, I will be vlogging at that game. I'm going to be vlogging at the game on Monday night against the Tennessee Titans, and we are going to see how the Dolphins are going into that game. Of course, this weekend, the Tennessee Titans take on the Green Bay Packers. Is Jordan Love going to play? Is it going to be a Malik Willis revenge game? I'm leaning towards, I think Jordan Love's not going to play this weekend. I think if the Packers lost last week, Jordan Love would have played this game. But I don't think Jordan Love is going to play this week. So if Jordan Love doesn't play, I think the Titans are going to beat the Packers this week. So we are going to see how that goes. But it's going to be a crazy week, man. And I'm excited for this trip. I can't wait to get out to Alabama for college game day. And oh my God, that's going to be an incredible game. Number 2 ranked Georgia versus number 4 ranked Alabama. That's going to be incredible. And then, of course, getting out to Miami for the football game on Monday night. I can't wait to get back to Hard Rock Stadium. It'll be 9 months since I got back, since I've been back at Hard Rock Stadium, and I can't wait to be there once again. Okay, just had to send a text message real quick. Perfect. All right, now that I got all the shenanigans done, before we talk about this game, I want to talk about something that dropped today. First of all, Mike McDaniel revealed in his press conference today that Tua Tagovailoa will be traveling with the team and will be on the sideline. Apparently, Tua has been a great leader on the field to Skylar Thompson and Tyler Huntley. He's been helping them out as much as he can all throughout this week. That's amazing. I love hearing stuff like that, helping the backups, helping Skylar get ready for this game. That part I love a lot. That's a true leader right there. You know he's got a concussion, and he's out there, and he's helping his backup quarterback get ready for this game against the Seattle Seahawks. But with him traveling, he just suffered this concussion a week ago. Is it smart enough to travel for over 6 hours right after you got a concussion a week ago? I don't know. That might not be the brightest idea, but that's not what I'm going to complain about. That's not what I'm going to complain about. What I'm going to complain about, and what I have a problem with, is this right here. So, this happened last Friday. Raheem Mostert said that he went to a Disney on Ice event with Jonnu Smith and Tua Tagovailoa's family the night after Tua's concussion, and Tua showed no visible signs of having been concussed. Why are you traveling? I don't care if you're hanging out with your family. That's all good. Jonnu's family, Raheem's family, and Tua's family all getting together. I like that. What I have a problem with, what I have a problem with is traveling all the way to Disney. Why? The day after you suffered a concussion, you go to a Disney on Ice event. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I've been to Disney on Ice before. And it's indoors. And I don't want to say it's loud, but it's a lot of lights going on around the room, and you got your eyes going back and forth with looking at the lights, and that's not good for a concussion. That in a dark room with bright lights on, that is not good for a concussion, ladies and gentlemen, and that could suffer in headaches, and if possibly it could be a seizure. Like, was that the brightest idea too? Absolutely not. That's not bright at all. And the part that's really like a head scratcher is as Tua showed no visible signs of being concussed. And we've heard reports this week that Tua knew he wasn't going to be able to play this week against Seattle, but he was hoping to prepare for a comeback against the Tennessee Titans or the New England Patriots, but the Miami Dolphins just put him on IR. So, if he's showing no visible signs, which he's got a concussion, he's probably got headaches, dizziness. If he's showing no visible signs, why is he on the IR? And there's only one answer, I think, as to why Tua is on the IR. And it's because the Dolphins are playing it safe. They're playing it safe because they were in deep shit in 2022 when Tua took that hit from Matt Milano. He banged his head on the turf. He came back and looked fine in the second half. But what they were in deep shit for was he came back 3 days later to playing on that Thursday night game in Cincinnati, and he suffered a violent, and I mean violent, concussion where he had the fingers and he got stretchered off the field. It was ugly. It was ugly as ugly could be. And the Miami Dolphins were in deep shit in that game because the national media was like, why did Tua play after he took that hit from Matt Milano? Why? So he's showing no visible signs. I don't know if I believe that, to be honest with you. But they placed him on IR because the Dolphins are playing it safe because of optics. So is our season fucked now? Is our season fucked because of optics? I have no idea. But this is strange to me, man. It really is. This is strange. That number one. Why are you going to a light show the night after you suffered a concussion? And if he's got no symptoms, why is he on IR? Why is he on the IR and he's not playing the next 4 games? So that's weird. Very, very weird situation. So, alright. Let's get into this game. The Miami Dolphins going to Lumen Field to take on the Seattle Seahawks. The 12th man is real. It's going to be a very high, hostile environment. And it's going to be a game. It's going to be a game. But let's go ahead and look at the injury report first. So we have, for the Dolphins, it's not that big. Honestly, the Seattle Seahawks had a way bigger injury report than the Miami Dolphins did. So, for the Dolphins, we know that Grant DuBose is out with a shoulder injury. I guess he got hurt when that football hit him in the shoulder on Thursday night, which turned into an interception on the first drive of the game. He sucks. And then Raheem Mostert and Malik Washington are both doubtful. So this is the third game that Malik Washington is going to miss this season. Not ideal to be missing 2 wide receivers, but this is what happens when you sign a wide receiver 3 and you know he's injured. So now you don't have Odell, you don't have River Craycraft, you don't have Grant DuBose, you released Robbie Chosen, you don't have Malik, and now you have 4 wide receivers. Technically 2, because is Braxton Berrios ever reliable? No. So basically, our wide receiver room is Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, along with Braxton Berrios, and I guess they're going to call up Eric Ezukanma for this game. So that's for the Dolphins. Then we get to the Seattle Seahawks. And boy, oh boy, they've got a laundry list of injuries on their side of the ball. So let's start off with questionable. Edge rusher Boye Mafe, safety Kayvon Wallace, tight end Pharaoh Brown, Derek Carr, and wide receiver Laviska Shenault, they're all questionable for Sunday's game. However, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Nwosu, he's out. One of their edge rushers, I think. Running back Kenneth Walker, who's on one of my fantasy football teams. He's not playing for a second week in a row. He's out. Ex-Miami Dolphin Jerome Baker, he's out. Shocker. Jerome Baker not playing. Dealing with a hamstring injury. And right tackle George Fant is not playing for the Seattle Seahawks. So, key injuries for the Seahawks. The Dolphins have a key injury in Raheem Mostert, but a lot of key injuries for the Seattle Seahawks. Is it going to matter? Hopefully. I mean, their run game is not the same without Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet's all right, but we should not have a hard time stopping Zach Charbonnet. And, they don't have their right tackle. Their right tackle was kind of a mess last week against the Patriots, or their right side of the offensive line was kind of messy. Connor Williams is their center. They got Charles Cross at left tackle. So they're not bad, but the right side of the offensive line, it could be something to take to. It could be something to look out for. So yeah, those are some big injuries for the Seahawks. And Jerome Baker. Jerome Baker is one of their starting linebackers, along with Terrell Dotson. So it looks like Trice Knight is going to be playing linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday, as I'm going off the CBS depth chart. All right, let's get into offense-defense matchups. Let's go first. We're going to go Dolphins offense versus the Seattle defense. And obviously the big thing for the Dolphins all this week, obviously the biggest thing, is the fact that Skylar Thompson is taking over now at quarterback. Skylar Thompson has experience somewhat. He started 2 games. The last game of the season against the Jets and the playoff game against the Buffalo Bills. And he didn't start the early game of the season against the Jets because he came in for Teddy Bridgewater. And this is his 3rd start of his NFL career. And, I'm rocking with Skylar, man. At the end of the day, we as a fan base should not be shitting on Skylar Thompson. I'm actually ashamed for some of the fans that have been talking crap about Skylar Thompson all week and how he's not going to perform and he sucks and we need Tyler Huntley and the season's over. I'm over with that crap. I said the season's over last week. I'm done. We got 4 very important games, which is going to determine our season. Because if we are 1-5 when Tua Tagovailoa comes back, guess what? There's no need for Tua Tagovailoa to come back because the season's over. If we're 2-4, we barely got a shot. We need to be 3-3 when Tua Tagovailoa comes back against the Arizona Cardinals. That's what we need to be. 4-2, 3-3. I doubt we go 5-1. But 4-2 or 4-3 is ideal. And I believe this team can win with Skylar Thompson. I don't think they're going to win because of Skylar Thompson, but I think they can win with Skylar Thompson. I don't think this is going to be a 9-6 type of game, but they need to have methodical drives. You can't be putting Skylar Thompson in shitty situations like you have in the past. For example, up 4 in the playoffs, you're on the Buffalo 8-yard line, It's 3rd and 17. Just run the ball and punt. What did McDaniel do? He threw it downfield. Skyler underthrew Trent Sherfield. Interception. Buffalo scored a touchdown the next drive. You can't do shit like that with a backup quarterback. You can't. You gotta set him up to be successful. That's how it goes. And the three most important things are run the ball, play defense, play good defense, and don't turn the ball over. That's all he has to do. That's all Skyler has to do. Is get the ball to the playmakers. Don't hold on to the ball for too long. And don't turn the ball over. So this is not only the biggest opportunity that he's going to get in his career, this is the biggest opportunity he's probably going to get in his life. This is huge for Skylar Thompson, and this is his chance to prove that, and this is just not this game, this is the next 4 games, that he is a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL. Now, we don't have a resume that indicates that he's a starting quarterback in this league. He's got to prove it. But I said it on Monday, and I will say it again. And we've got too much talent on this team to play the waiting game. Too much. If, at all, he's not living up to the moment, he looks rough out there, and he's holding the team back, Mike McDaniel's got to grow a set, and he's got to put Tyler Huntley in. And it might not be this week, but Monday night, he's got to play Tyler Huntley against the Titans, because if you lose this game, that game against Tennessee's must win. You cannot lose at home to Tennessee 2 years in a row. That's going to be a revenge game. So we've got to play our best game. We've got to have our A game on Sunday. So these are my 3 keys on the offense. And number 1 is run the fucking ball. That's number 1. Because I mentioned it earlier a little bit. Last week, when they played the New England Patriots, the Patriots ran the ball 36 times and had 185 rushing yards. Now, with Skylar Thompson at quarterback, the Miami Dolphins have to be a run-first offense. You cannot be stubborn, Mike McDaniel, and launch the ball downfield with Skylar Thompson like you would with Tua Tagovailoa. Because if you think that Skylar Thompson can win the same way that Tua Tagovailoa does, you are in for a long day in Seattle. You're in for a long day. So this team needs to be a run-first offense led by Devon Achane. He is the spark of this offense right now. Right now, Devon Achane is the best player on offense. So we have to rally around Devon Achane. And with Raheem Mostert not playing, you cannot hold back Jalen Wright any longer. Get him in the game. Get him some plays. Let him run the ball. If we need 3 yards on a 3rd down, hand the ball off to Jeff Wilson. Let him power her way to a 1st down. Because also, we got to play to our offensive line's strengths. And our strength is not pass blocking. Our strength is run blocking. So, run the ball with Achane Jalen Wright and Jeff Wilson. And hey, guess what? Skylar Thompson can run. Tua Tagovailoa cannot run. So guess what? Get some run designs in there for Skylar Thompson, man. I'm serious. The kid can run. Go watch his highlights at Kansas State. He can run. So that's number one. Run the damn ball. Number two is get the football to your playmakers. Listen, this is not all on Skylar Thompson. Mike McDaniel, who I'm going to talk about next, he's got to step it up, and he's got to help Skylar. He's got to call the right plays at the right time. Anthony Weaver on defense, he's got to step it up. Tyreek has to step it up. Jalen Waddle has to step up. Jalen Ramsey has to step up. For crying out loud, Jordan Poyer has to step up. These players that are getting paid big money, Hill, Waddle, Ramsey, Armstead, they've got to fucking play. They got to play. We just can't rely on Skylar Thompson to win us this game. It's not going to work. You're not going to win the same way you do with Tua. You're not going to win the same way you do with Tua than you are with Skylar Thompson. It's just not going to happen. You've got to go in there, and the playmakers got to fucking play. Tyreek, Waddle. We're going up against a good secondary this week, man. Devon Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen are two of the best 1-2 corners in the NFL. Cornerback duos in the NFL. And they've got good safeties too. Julian Love, who they paid in the offseason. Rayshawn Jenkins, who they signed from the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going up against a good secondary this weekend. And we're going up against a good defensive line too. So, we're going up against a good defense overall. And I'm going to talk about their coach at the end of this video. But that's number two. Get the ball to your playmakers. And number three. This is on Coach McDaniel. And I can't reiterate this enough. Set Skylar Thompson up for success. Don't make it hard. Don't make it harder on the kid. He's got to go in there and he's got to help Skylar Thompson. He can't be putting him in impossible situations that we know he's not going to make out of. We got to go in there and help him. Mike McDaniel. No stupid challenges. The play calling has got to be better. It's got to be better than what we've seen the past 2 weeks. Did you know? I'm going to tell you right now. The last 5 games the Miami Dolphins have played, they've averaged 14 points a game. 14 points a game in the last 5 games that we've played. That goes back to last year. 19 points versus the Baltimore Ravens. 14 points versus the Buffalo Bills. 7 points versus the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoff game. 20 points versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And 10 points last Thursday versus Buffalo. That is unacceptable with the amount of talent that we have on this offense. Got to do better. You got to be better when we have as high as expectations as we do this season. You've got to be better. So, this is a big test for Mike McDaniel because, look, we've seen Kevin Stefanski win with Joe Flacco. We've seen They didn't make the playoffs last year, but we've seen Zach Taylor win with Jake Browning. We've seen Shane Steichen win with Gardner Minshew. And Kevin O'Connell, it wasn't pretty, but they didn't get blown out in games when they were playing with Josh Dobbs and Nick Mullins last year. Another one that you can point out at is, what was I thinking about? There's another one I can't think about. Mason Rudolph. There it is. Mike Tomlin won and made it to the playoffs with Mason fucking Rudolph last year. So if they can do it with these quarterbacks, if Mike McDaniel's an offensive guru, he can win with Skylar Thompson. And he should. He should be able to win games with Skylar Thompson as his starting quarterback. So, those are the offensive keys. Now we go to the defensive keys. And with Tua Tagovailoa out this week, and he's out for the next 4 games, it puts more pressure on our defense. And, I'm not going to sit here and say the defense has been terrible this year, but there's been some players that have been playing downright awful this year. From Benito Jones to Kendall Fuller. Jordan Poyer is a train wreck. There's a reason why Buffalo let Jordan Poyer walk. It's because he's 32 years old and he's not a starting caliber safety in this league anymore. And based off last year, and based off this year, with Jordan Poyer and Marcus May, the Dolphins downgraded in our safety room. We downgraded from Deshaun Elliott and Brandon Jones to Jordan Poyer and Marcus May. You're telling me you couldn't sign Deshaun Elliott to 2 years, $6 million? Because that's what the Steelers gave him. You're telling me you couldn't give Deshaun Elliott that contract, that you let him walk, and now we're stuck with Jordan Poyer, who's a shell of his former self. He's got to be better. Got to be better. So, and this Seattle offense is no joke. Geno Smith is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, folks. He is playing like a top 10 quarterback this year. And it's only 2 games, but last week against a solid New England defense, he carved them up. 327 passing yards. DK Metcalf had 129 receiving yards and a 56-yard touchdown. JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba, had 12 catches for 17 yards last week. 12 catches for 117 yards. My fault. This is not going to be easy for this defense. Of course, last week, the field position was terrible because of all the turnovers. They had Buffalo starting in Miami territory almost every drive. And that's going to set up for disaster. Hopefully this week that's not the case. Let's go ahead and give our 3 keys to this game. Number 1 is get pressure. Cause havoc. Jalen Phillips, Emmanuel Ogbah, Chop Robinson, I'm looking at you. Chop Robinson's this close to getting there. We need to get pressure to Geno Smith. We cannot let him sit in the pocket. We cannot let him sit in the pocket and sling the ball downfield to DK Metcalf and JSN. Because if that's the case, they're going to score a lot of points, and you're not going to give the offense a chance with Skylar Thompson. You're just not. So we need to get pressure. And I'm looking at the edge rushers, and I'm looking at Zach Zealer, Calais Campbell when he's in the game, Benito Jones. We need to get home. We need pressure on Geno Smith. And that's certain. We need him. We need the pressure because Geno Smith, he's playing really well this year, man. Really well. Number two. When we have the opportunity to get a turnover, get a fucking turnover. Don't drop an interception like Jordan Poyer did week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If that ball is on the ground, dive for it. Dive on that football. Fight. That's all I ask. Fight for turnovers. And number 3, I say it every week, no stupid penalties. No stupid penalties like Jalen Ramsey. No stupid penalties like Bradley Chubb last year. Play smart. Get pressure. Force them to punt. And keep their offense off the field. In this case, we are playing a team, and with most of these teams, we're playing against a better offense than what we got. And that's no offense to Skylar. That's just reality of the situation. Seattle's got a really good offense. And we need to keep them on the bench as much as possible. And this has been a really long preview. We are over 40 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up as quickly as I can. Mike McDaniel, you are the head guy. We signed you to an extension for a reason. Because this organization thinks you're the right guy to lead us to where we need to be. And we as a team, since you've been here, all Mike McDaniel has talked about is adversity is opportunity. Well, Dolphins are certainly battling with adversity. No Tua Tagovailoa until Halloween, until late October. So now we have an opportunity to battle adversity. We have an opportunity to do something that a lot of people in the national media don't think we're going to do, is win with Skylar Thompson. It's time to go prove the doubters wrong. I believe in Skylar Thompson. I do. I've seen some good things. I've seen some bad things. But Skylar Thompson's been in this system for 3 years. And it's not like Skylar Thompson is taking over for a team like the New York Giants, who's got terrible weapons around besides Malik Neighbors. It's not like that. You are taking over, and you've got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, Devon Achane, Jalen Wright. You've got the weapons. And you cannot go in there and play fucking scared. Live in the moment. Live in the moment. That's all I got. Oh, that was a lot to get off my chest, man. A lot to get off my chest about this game. I've been thinking about this game all week. All week. So it's most Dolphins fans. But that's all I got. I'm getting out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the Big Fight Field channel if you haven't already. Comment down below your thoughts on this game coming up Sunday, man. We will be back Sunday after the Dolphins take on the Seattle Seahawks, 4:05, with our guy Kevin Harlan. Kevin Harlan's undefeated streak calling Miami Dolphins games is on the line this weekend. That's a big deal. His streak is on the line, and he's definitely going to be tested. So, we'll see how everything goes Sunday. We'll be back Sunday night after the game concludes. It's a 4 o'clock kickoff. Yeah, hit the like button if you liked your heard from me. Follow me on Twitter, Colin_Joseph. I'm going to be live tweeting during the game on Sunday over on X. And I'm out. So, everybody, have a good night. Stay safe. And let's go, Dolphins. Let's shock the world, baby. Let's go win in Seattle.